This video is part of the Team Seas initiative. Check out teamseas.org or stick around till the end of the video for more info. The catastrophic global effects of climate change, rising sea levels, warming temperatures, devastating natural disasters, record-setting droughts affect us all. While hope for a brighter environmental future seems to grow dimmer by the day, some Israeli innovators are tackling sustainability head-on, specifically when it comes to preserving and optimizing how we use the world's most precious resource, water. The Israeli sustainability sector's commitment, ingenuity, and perseverance has become a global model. The why is rather simple. Israel's in the Middle East, an arid part of the world with scarce water sources. So in this case, necessity truly is the mother of invention. Israel's precarious water security made water conservation and innovation a top national priority, and Israeli water planners, scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, and others have answered the call. How are they doing it? Here are some of the ways Israelis are pioneering water sustainability on the world stage. Israelis have contributed many important inventions to the world, few as important as drip irrigation. Created by Simcha Blas in 1959, it's an incredibly simple yet effective irrigation system. It uses pipes, or drip lines, to deliver water and nutrients to the root zones of crops. Today, innovations help drip irrigation systems operate even more efficiently, reducing the water needed for a farm by up to 70% in some places. Each plant gets what it needs when it needs it. Farmers enjoy higher yields with almost no waste or runoff, all while conserving energy and water. Israelis are helping rural farmers across the globe take advantage of drip irrigation, particularly in Africa. Organizations such as Innovation Africa, a nonprofit that brings Israeli water, solar, and agricultural technologies to villages across the continent, are providing fresh water and drip irrigation in 10 African nations. With over 500 projects, they've helped provide access to clean water for over 3 million people. Israel is a country that's largely arid, with only one sizable freshwater lake. So fresh water is hard to come by. But it does have a very large saltwater source, the Mediterranean Sea. If you heard saltwater and thought desalination, you're spot on. Desalination is one of Israel's most important technologies. The availability of seawater isn't as dependent on the climate or political disputes like inland water sources. And there's also plenty of it to go around. Desalination uses massive facilities to make seawater drinkable, and Israelis are only relying on it more. The country's 7th desalination plant will be completed in 2025, at which point desalinated seawater will account for over 85% of the water Israelis consume. Thanks to homegrown technological improvements and marketplace competition, desalination costs in Israel are dropping, and production is becoming better and more efficient. Like drip irrigation, this one is as simple as it sounds. Israelis recycle and reuse nearly 90% of their wastewater. That's about 4 times higher than any other nation on Earth. Compare that to the United States, which reuses less than 10% of its water. So how do they do it? Dedicated treatment plants take raw sewage, filter it a second time with microorganisms, and clean it until it's so clean you could drink it, though it's mostly used for agriculture. The Shafdan treatment plant in Petah Tikva, one of 67 such plants in Israel, has been cited as a model wastewater treatment facility by the United Nations. Recycled water, along with desalination, now supports Israeli economic growth and will help Israelis withstand dire droughts brought on by climate change. With global water demand expected to surpass supply by 40% by 2030, learning from Israel's network of recycled water treatment facilities will be of vital importance. There's agriculture, and then there's smart agriculture, or agtech. Agtech brings big data and tech into the mix to maximize crop yields, and Israelis are leading the way. Israeli sustainability entrepreneurs are discovering innovative ways to bring technologies like robotics, drones, artificial intelligence, data analytics, and more to crop production. The result? More crops, better crops, and a more efficient use of resources like water, plant nutrients, fertilizers, and even human labor. Today, Israel's agtech sector is booming, with over 450 companies that help feed the world. Big data isn't behind every Israeli sustainability achievement. Some, like solar energy, are actually relatively simple. Heating water accounts for 25% of residential energy use worldwide, mostly through burning fossil fuels. But solar water heaters can reduce a household's water heating fuel consumption by 50 to 70%. And Israelis are sold on these solar water heaters, which harness the sun's heat to directly heat water, without having to convert it to electricity first. Back in the 1950s, Israelis experienced a severe energy shortage. To combat the rising cost of energy, Tzvi Tavor and Levi Isar created what is now known as the Dud Shemesh, or sun boiler. By the mid-1960s, barely 2 decades after Israel's founding, 1 in every 20 Israeli households already had their own sun boiler. Israeli companies producing solar water heaters soon began exporting them to other Mediterranean countries like Greece, Italy, and Turkey. After the oil embargo Israel faced following the Yom Kippur War, energy independence became a national priority. In 1976, Israel mandated solar water heaters for all new residential buildings over 8 stories tall, which later expanded to all new residential buildings. Today, Israeli society is the solar gold standard. 85% of Israelis get hot water from solar water heaters, which reduces electricity consumption by an estimated 2 million barrels of oil a year, or nearly $84 million. By contrast, in the US, less than 1% of households have a solar water heater. Israel isn't keeping this all for itself either. Israeli companies export about $2 billion of water tech all over the world every year, particularly to Africa and Asia. Israeli irrigation exports account for 30% of the global irrigation market, and with water crises expected to intensify around the globe as our planet warms, Israelis will likely play a major role in the water sustainability sector for years to come. Israelis are even fine-tuning what, at first glance, sounds like science fiction, creating water out of thin air. Israeli startup WaterGen filters water vapor out of the atmosphere and converts it into safe drinking water. WaterGen's cutting-edge technology is providing water to hospitals in the Gaza Strip, which is suffering from a shortage of clean drinking water, and rural villages in Central Africa, where people would otherwise need to walk for hours to find water. WaterGen's technology has also been used to provide drinking water to the first responders in California and Australia, battling record-setting fires in recent years. Israelis may be leading the charge to help forge a more sustainable model of water consumption, but when it comes to the future of our planet, we're all in this together. That's why we've joined the global campaign led by Mr. Beast and Mark Rober, along with dozens of other YouTubers, to clean up 30 million pounds of plastic pollution from the Earth's waters. Every dollar raised will help clean up 1 pound of plastic and trash from our oceans, rivers, and beaches. Donate and learn more at teamseas.org.